dramatization portraying the life of George Garrison Shafer is part fact and part fiction. The setting is the Garrison Shafer Post Office and General Store, located where the Bible Fellowship Church is now found. The time is March 1880. We find George Shafer, age 22, son of George Shafer, caring for the business in his father's absence. His mother, Catherine Reinhardt, before marriage, affectionately known as Kate, also works in the store. 3 men are sitting by the pot-bellied stove. Jake, a tanner, Jonas, a pig farmer, and Otto, a lumberman.
We're right in the middle of mud season, you know. Getting up to Bush Mountain, making sure them pigs ain't getting killed by any mountain lions, wasn't easy this last week. Ruts in the road, mud up to my knees. Them hogs are getting right back feeding on sweet birch nuts.
I hear Mr. Shafer's always awaiting for hair fleshings from them hogs. He wants to mix that up with lime to sell it for making plaster for plastering walls. That hair binds plaster good.
We sure had a good winter season of felling them spruce and hemlock from up the beach back there in Bush Mountain, even with all the snow. We hauled them down by sled so as Mr. Shafer and Mr. Reinhardt could mill them for lumber. They got a good stock of boards and sell them for a right good price at that. Speaking of Mr. Shafer, have you heard from him lately?
Well, I got a letter from George last week. He's been in California, you know, surveying. He says it's beautiful country with huge redwood trees.
Sure would like to see them giants.
Mr. Shafer, he's been gone for quite a while now.
Yeah, Papa's been away nearly 6 months. Come to think of it, that's about how long he was in England when he was doing survey work there. You know, in his last letter, he said he thought he'd be coming home soon. Could be any day now. Well, good day, Mrs. Miller.
Good day to you, Mr. Garrison, and to you, Kate, also, and to you gentlemen over there.
I do.
Now, ain't that something? Which of you have ever thought you'd be called a gentleman?
Why, I wager Hiram's out behind a couple of mules plowing them fields about now.
It sure is. Here's a list of what I need, some of the things I need from the store, and, okay, and Mrs. Shafer, here's some money for you to give to Mr. Casper Buck, the undertaker. Now that the spring thaw has arrived, I want to make sure we give Jacob a good burial.
It's been more than a hard winter for your family. When I wrote and told Mr. Shafer about your father-in-law's death, he was saddened. He wrote, Jacob Miller was a brave man to have entered the war at 57 and a good farmer as well. I will certainly lift him and his family up in prayer.
Next time you write to Mr. Shafer, tell him how much we appreciate his kind thoughts. He's been such a devout Christian man, what with donating the land for the building of the Oakland Methodist Church and being the Sunday school superintendent as well.
Thank you for those sentiments.
We sure did have a hard winter, but we got through. It must have been just as hard for you and Mr. Shafer when you came up to this wilderness from New Jersey.
The trip was made easier because we were out of sight of Jenny Jump Mountain on our Conestoga wagon late in April of 56. It wasn't winter, and the journey wasn't that bad. Like you said, we got through.
Mama speaks modestly about what I would consider a not too easy way up here with a determined husband of 2 years. Why, he and Uncle Martin were dead set on buying this sawmill here in Oakland from old Mr. Harrison Sebring.
Yeah, I heard tell that your mom and dad brought quite a wagon load with them. Could have been rumor, but the story was that they had a store on wheels. No wonder we've got this stuff here. Shafer store now, and had a good beginnings.
Well, it just so happens that I keep a list of what they brought with them as inspiration for working in this here store.
Do tell. Well, go ahead and read that list. And maybe these two could be inspired to do a little something around here for a change.
Yeah, that wagon, it was loaded for sure. There was flour, lard, molasses, feather tip, quilts, dishes, homespun linens.
Well, we had to load up. Uncle Martin and your father, they reported there were no stores in Oakland.
Well, Mama, you also brought candles, herbs, medicine, homemade remedies, thread, a small barrel of soap, Bear's Almanac, well, and of course, the Bible. Oh, that's right, and that old contented clucking hen chicken with the 10 chicks in that old wash tub full of straw.
We just weren't sure what we'd find when we got to Oakland. Maybe there wouldn't be chickens enough for the newcomers.
Oh, and you weren't leaving it to chance either that you might go hungry. Why, there was a tray of cooking loaves, fresh bread, pies, cookie, a crock of butter, and I know you were fixing to do a bunch of cooking too once you got here, because you brought those heavy, heavy kettles and skillets of iron. We still have them hanging out back. And that wooden cradle too. You brought that cradle too for when Sister Amelia came in October.
Garrison, you forgot the fresh dug lilac bush your grandma Shafer gave us at the last minute before we left Big Meadows. It's right by the doorway at home, and it's almost ready to bloom.
Well, Mrs. Miller, I've written all of your items into the account book here, and I'll give you a total so you know what to pay whenever you're ready. There was 1/2 can of tea, that was 15 cents. 2 pounds of rice, that was 16 cents. 2 pounds of coffee for 60 cents. 1 bottle of lamp oil, 50 cents. 10 pounds of sugar, 50 cents. 1 box of matches for a nickel. 1 quart of molasses for a dime. Oh, and a tin kettle too. That was $1.25, and the total is $3.31. Now, you make sure you give my springtime greetings to Hiram when you get home. Oh, and here, let me take these out your way.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Shafer, for being here, and good day to you gentlemen also.
Good day.
And goodbye to you too, Mrs. Miller.